Elsewhere, the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, has filed an appeal against a warrant of arrest and subsequent jail term for contempt of court. The embattled Director of Criminal Investigations was sentenced to 4 months after declining to comply with court orders to release firearms and ammunition belonging to businessman Jimmy Wanjigi. A defiant Kinoti has maintained that dealing with civilian firearms is not within his mandate, but that of the Firearms Licensing Board. Let's now cross over to the Court of Appeal, where a virtual session to hear Kinoti's application is underway. NTV's Seth Olale is live on the ground. Hi Seth, what more can you tell us at this point?
Well, good afternoon, Smriti. What I can say is that the hearing of this particular Court of Appeal case is now being presided over by a 3-judge bench who are going to determine whether the High Court sentence will be suspended as requested by the DCI boss, or it will actually remain, meaning that Kinoti will be arrested and be taken to prison to serve his 4-month jail term. But all this depends with that particular decision that will be granted, or rather made, by the 3-judge appellate bench. What we know is that at this particular hour, this particular session that is actually virtual has been adjourned, and in about 30 minutes time we expect the appellate court to make its decision on 2 things: whether they will grant temporarily stay orders as requested by Judge Maingi Kinoti, or rather they will decide that he actually serves his 4-month prison sentence awaiting the formal hearing of this particular appeal case. Remember that we're talking about a case whereby George Kinoti is being held in contempt for refusing, or rather disobeying, court orders that actually ordered him to submit 7 firearms. We're talking about AK-47 rifles to businessman Jimmy Wanjigi. These particular firearms were confiscated from Wanjigi at his various homes in 2017, and 2 years later in 2019 the High Court did give this particular order that the DCI submit the firearms to Wanjigi. However, that has not been followed up by the DCI. In his defense, like you mentioned, Spreti, the DCI boss, George Kinoti, maintains it is not within its mandate, but that of the Firearms Licensing Board. Remember that a similar appeal by Mr. Kinoti in the High Court was actually quashed out, meaning that his only option legally is in the appellate court. So we're just standing here outside the Court of Appeal, and we'll be giving this particular update in our subsequent bulletin.